Hello YouTube, this is Jedi Sentinel 99 back again with another Star Wars video. So yes, today I bring you guys another video, but I'm not here alone. I have two special guests with me, and we're going to go over a few questions that you guys may know or may not know of Star Wars Questionnaire. Basically, 16 questions that has been going on quite a few years. I can't remember when it all started. You may have heard of this from Great Jedi 91, Gensarai 1, and Twin Bond Delay and Evanova 95, and everyone has been doing it recently. So I was like, you know, why not bring it back for old time's sake? Instead of just me by myself alone, I have two people, a good friend of mine. We have 212th Trooper and Concordia Jedi.
I am doing this video under protest. No, I'm joking. How you doing, man?
No, good. And so, yeah. So basically, we're going to go over 16 questions, but we're going to do it like in order. And so basically 212 go first, Concordia, and myself. So basically in order. So the first question is Jedi or Sith? Basically, what would we be in the world of Star Wars? 212?
Jedi. That's not even really a question. Well, why would I want to be a Sith?
And
I mean, I'm supposed to be.
I'm kind of in agreement there, Jedi. I think just the dark side just does awful things to you. Yeah, you get power, but if you end up looking like Palpatine, is it really worth it?
I mean, there are some Sith that can be good, but just like, yeah, I mean, I'm a Sith, but that doesn't mean I can be a dick. Like, but for me,
look at Ion. Like
They just look more comfortable. Like tunics and robes, they look very comfortable. And then you see like what some of the Sith wear with like all the armor and stuff. Not really for me.
Yeah, for me, I would say Jedi, but I'm be more. How do I put this? When it comes to being Jedi, people have their own views on how the Jedi should be, how they run, and to be honest, I have my own mixed opinions about certain things, how the Jedi run, especially the code. Kind of like, okay, some things I disagree, something I do agree, but I'm more better follow the will of the Force than just the code. Kind of like how Qui-Gon Jinn was, in a way. But Jedi all the way, but more like a warrior type, not being just a monk. So that's just me as a whole. So, and before we even started this, I just had a feeling that, yeah, all three of us going to be Jedi, so that's not going to be debate. So, yeah, so all three of us will be Jedis. So, the second question is favorite worlds. Basically, what is our favorite planets? So, we're going to go, we have the option to pick 3 because it makes it a lot more fair. So, we have limited to 3 to pick. So, 212th.
all right. So, okay, if this is in terms of a world that I would want to live on, then I would choose Naboo. However, in terms of a world that I find most interesting in terms of the concept of it, I guess it would be Tython.
And your third?
Third? I guess if I had to choose a third, this isn't a world that I would necessarily...
What?
I don't like living in big cities, but this is a world that I wouldn't necessarily want to live on, but I guess I wouldn't mind visiting, but because I'm not a big fan of the big city, I guess Coruscant, because I imagine there's some sites there that would be interesting to see.
Alrighty, Concordia.
In terms of a planet that I would like to live on, I'm completely in agreement with 212, probably Naboo. It's beautiful, but it's also just strikingly similar to Earth, so I have a feeling we'd have no problem adapting to it. In terms of a planet that I find aesthetically pleasing, and in terms of like the places you could live on it, where I would consider living, definitely Bespin, and specifically Cloud City on Bespin. I think you'd have some amazing sunsets there. In terms of a planet I think is fantastic, and I love based purely off of aesthetic, but I wouldn't want to live there, definitely Mustafar. It looks amazing. I am not going to move there anytime soon.
Right.
I'm not blaming you there.
And
Granted, I would move there before I would move to Hoth, because I hate the cold.
if I had to say the planet I would live, I would say Dantooine, because I feel like that planet is underrated in my opinion. I mean, yeah, they do mention it here and there. It's just like they never go there. We don't see it. Like, it's so underrated, and plus, it's more peaceful place, and they're just minding their own business. And the Empire has like have no business, have no meaning to go there, and
very limited.
Yeah, it's very unlimited. So like, yeah, what that do we have? Basically nothing. Plus, it's
Book of Cassius. What?
but
You might want to get the cough picked up.
Yeah.
if I was to say the second one that is my personal favorite planet, I would say Camino. It's just I like how the world is look, the design, especially. I like the rain because it just felt calm and peaceful at the rain. It was just, I don't know, it just felt relaxed when it's raining or whatever.
Little side note about Camino. Did anyone else freak out when they saw the Clone Wars episode where it showed there actually are sunny days on Camino?
Yeah.
That messed with my mind. I thought it was just perpetually rainy there, just rain all the time. No, apparently every once in a while there's like the sun comes out.
Yeah, I was like, my mind was like, what the fuck? Like,
what is going on here?
And I do have to agree with you, Concordia, for the third one. I would not go or live in Mustafar, but, I mean, a planet of freaking volcano, like...
It looks cool.
It looks cool and bad.
Cool.
It looks cool and badass. It's just like, I can't deal with the heat. That's the problem. I cannot deal with the heat. It's just...
I doubt at this point it's much of a question of like, oh, can you handle the heat? Because I don't think anyone is going to be able to handle it.
Yeah.
You know, it's an active volcano world. It's more like, I imagine, like living there, like all the volcanic ash in the air, you'd probably get cancer pretty fast.
Yeah. I mean,
the people that do live there have like specialized suits to live there, so it's like,
yeah,
I guess. But I don't want to live on a place that requires me to wear a specific suit in order just to live.
Nah, I rather, I don't mind going there, but I'm not staying. Like, I just want to see the lava lake or lava fall and all that. So just like seeing it on screen, I was like, oh my god, what the fuck am I looking at right now? And the third question is basically has three of them, but in one question: lightsaber hilt, color, and forms. Basically, fighting forms. So, yeah, 212. Like
curved hilt, orange blade, Makashi, and or Sarisu.
Orange. That honestly is surprising.
I'll give credit. That's not a color seen too often. For me, single hilt, just a standard hilt with, I'd say maybe 11 to 13 inches. You know, good for fighting. Green blade, and probably form 3 or form 5. Just anything that gives a good balance of defense and offense.
For me, I would say just simple, standard lightsaber hilt with not like long, just like a bit of a short, almost similar to Shoto, but just I could move it so balanced and not dealing with the weight. And I'd rather have like a bit of like loose or tight grip. And the lightsaber color, I would say yellow, because yellow are underrated. And fighting style, I would say Form 2, 3, Ataru, and be also a Jarkai dual blade person, because I'm always the fan when it comes to dual wielding, but I'd rather have like a single bladed in a way. But it's best to learn Jarkai just in case if you need it when you're in a 2v1 in sort of way. So that would be my hilt, color, and fighting styles.
Side note, I really wish we had gotten like at least like 30 more seconds of Anakin wielding two blades in Attack of the Clones.
Right. I mean, we do see him do it again in the Clone Wars when he toe-to-toe with Barriss. So, and before was always in my thought of this question. I thought he was gonna go with the blue. Like in my mind was like, okay, why do I get the feeling that 212 and Concordia just gonna go with the basic, the blue and green?
Well, I imagine if I were chosen by a crystal, it would probably be blue. But if we're going on based on what I want, then it'd be orange.
Right. And that's literally been on my mind. I was like, yeah, basically I was going to have that blue, green, and yellow basic type colors. Like, orange, that caught me by surprise. Like, wow. They didn't expect orange is getting more attention. I mean, yeah, orange is underrated too, don't get me wrong. It's just not a lot of people chose orange these days. They mostly just go with blue, green, purple, or red, not other type of colors. And that's honestly surprising me. So, the fourth question is favorite species, basically favorite race. So we're gonna choose 3. So, 212.
Number 1, human.
Basic.
I mean, think about it for a moment. Like, all the main characters are human. Well, let me preface. Like in the movies, almost all the characters that are the main focus.
Right.
I mean, yeah, we got droids like R2 and C-3PO, then you got Chewbacca, but for the most part, human. And to be fair, in the lore, humanity is the most prevalent species in the galaxy because they are the most adaptable. Now, as for other races, I guess I would have to choose Togruta as my second. That's probably because I'm biased and I like Ahsoka and Shakti, so... And as for the third, I guess I would have to go for the Wookiees. Because I like the Wookiees. They're cool.
Concordia?
I'd say number 1. I'm just going to exclude humans from mine just because I think it's too easy.
Fair enough.
I would say probably Wookiees, Togrutans, and whatever the heck Claude was in Rise of Skywalker, the big slug guy.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I do love Claude though. No. My number 3, I would probably say either Nautilans or I would say Ewoks.
Right.
I guess if I had to exclude humans from mine, it would be Nautilans as well. So
Y'all guys have like almost similar base, and my base is just of like aliens. My favorite goes to the Zabraks. Second, I always said the name of the race. Caldor, the Plo Koon's race. I always said that name right. And this is from the legend. I don't know if anyone knows this, but I think someone that we know pretty much knows. Zeltron.
I know what you're talking about.
They're just holy fuck. I know this is gonna be people are gonna be debating like they're hotter than the Twi'leks. So I know people are gonna debate as like no they're not or something like that. They're just whew. Plus they're underrated and no one knows who they are since well yeah we all know why. So Zabraks, the reason why I am so interested in their race and how their design looks unique. They look similar to humans, just with different culture, and they have horns. And now they have like tattoos in a way.
They're also more hardy than humans typically, and they have 2 hearts.
Yeah, like you have to like kill them like twice instead of just once, or decapitate them, or instead of cutting in half. Because like look at Maul for example, and Caldor. I don't know why I like that. It's because of how their design looks good and how they're interesting they are, and I just had that. I don't know. I just like how they look. How interesting, and the fact that they need that mask to able to breathe and able to have the oxygen, but there are some of their race can breathe without the mask. But the only 2
that's only explicitly on their home planet. They outside of their home environment, which is like I don't know the exact makeup of their atmosphere, but they live typically on much higher pressure worlds.
Yeah,
and they can't breathe oxygen like most other species. That's why he wears that mask.
Yeah, like the only 2 that we know is Plo Koon and his niece Sha Koon. And the next question is favorite vehicles. Same goes we did last time. Limited to 3 of picking favorite vehicles. So, go ahead.
Alright. The Naboo N1 Starfighter. The reason for that is, well, I like how it looks. And plus it's, in terms of what it's capable of, it's, well, one, it has a hyperdrive. That's pretty essential if you're going to go anywhere in the galaxy. It's fairly standard, but hey, it gets the job done. It can handle itself against most starfighter opponents fairly well. It has proton torpedoes. And plus it just looks nice. It looks great. If I am without a N1 starfighter, I'm gonna default to the X-wing, mainly because
It's classic.
I guess for much the same reason, but I guess it's kind of debatable which one is actually more effective. But I've at least seen how effective it is against the typical TIE fighter. But then again, those are meant to be cheap and basically use swarm tactics. So I guess when it's pitted up against an opponent that's more or less equally matched or in the same ballpark. Anyways, I like those 2 for much the same reasons, but I'll choose the N1 Starfighter because it looks better. That's just it. It looks nicer. It's pretty. And as for my last choice, A Jedi Starfighter, but specifically the one that Anakin used in the 2D Clone Wars series. The one he went after. He went after Asajj Ventress with. The Azure Angel. That's what he called it.
Yeah, to me, I would basically call it like Phase 1, Phase 2 of the Jedi Starfighter, because there's like 2 versions of it.
And Anakin was actually smart enough to include a hyperdrive without the need for like one of those rings that those starfighters typically need to connect to go into hyperspace.
Right. So, Concordia, you're up.
So, if this is talking about which vehicles I would want to have as my personal vehicles, then say number 1 would probably be Queen Amidala's starship, her Naboo starship. Specifically the version from Attack of the Clones. I just think that's a really sleek looking design. Number 2 would probably be a classic Jedi Starfighter, like the one from Attack of the Clones, like that Obi-Wan had. I just love that overall look and design of that one. And then number 3 would probably be, I guess it would probably be a what was the name of that one? The Dooku's Solar Sailor. That one's just such a unique design. If we're talking like my top 3 just based off of how much I love them, then number 1 would be a TIE Fighter, number 2 would be the Millennium Falcon, number 3 would actually be Luke's Land Speeder from A New Hope. All those 3, I just love them for they're such classic parts of my childhood.
The TIE Fighter was your number 1.
I think part of what makes the TIE Fighter my number 1 is just the sounds that it makes. It's so connected to me just sitting there on my couch as a kid watching the original trilogy and just hearing the sounds of those guns and the noise they make when they fly by.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
When it comes to me, I would say the Jedi Starfighter, the one from the Revenge of the Sith version. I just love that design of that ship. And I think I remember correctly, I think I did have a Lego of that back then. I can't remember. I know I had it, but I know I had that version of the Jedi Starfighter back as a kid. I just love how it looks and the design it was. And is, in my opinion, is better version of the Clone Wars Jedi Starfighter had. I just what the that's just me. I just felt okay, I don't like that kind of shit, but I mean, they do get a better one soon, so I'm not gonna go against it. Or I was young at the time when I was what the fuck is this shit? This is not the Jedi Starfighter that I know. I was young at the time. I didn't know what the fuck that shit was. The second one... Ooh, this is a tough one. The second one, I had to go with the Millennium Falcon because it's the most iconic and most... everyone's favorite ship in the entire Star Wars franchise. And... it's just the most iconic ship in the Star Wars, and it's been through shit. Both legends and canons in their own way. And third one, I would say Rogue Shadow from the Force Unleashed. But there's 2 versions from the first one and the second one. I had to go with the second version of Rogue Shadow. I just like how they redesigned the ship to make it more good. I'm not saying that the first version of Rogue Shadow was bad. It's still good. It looks badass, but... And when I was a little kid, when I heard there was a Lego of it, I was I want it so bad, but I never got it. but I just like the name Rogue Shadow. It just sounds cool. So, yeah, those are my favorite types of ships that I actually like and favorites, and that actually wouldn't mind taking a good spin. So, the next one is Jedi Master. Basically, what Jedi Master that would train us, like, if we were a Jedi.
Alrighty. Well, this one's a pretty easy one for me, and I think it might actually be yours as well. But if I had to choose a Jedi to train me, it would be Qui-Gon. But if I'm without Qui-Gon, then I would choose. Oh my gosh, this one's actually a little bit difficult because it's not that I dislike a lot of Jedi. In fact, I do like a lot of Jedi. It's just
hard.
Would be my favorite to train me.
It's hard to choose because, like, when it comes to picking Jedi Master, you have to pick someone that will be perfect fitting for you as a person, or something along the way, or something like, okay, I want to train this way because it's more suitable than just focusing on just being a freaking monk or something.
Okay, so if I had to choose for my second choice, it would be Luke, but specifically from the Legends continuity, and whenever he was running his Jedi Order.
Mm-hmm.
And for my third choice, I would choose Yoda. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people I've heard that like to poke fun. It's like, oh, he led the Jedi to disaster, but I'm not exactly hold him completely responsible for that. And Yoda, for all his faults, is still a really good Jedi Master to have. I mean, just ask Luke. So.
Yeah, he also led the Jedi for hundreds of years without issue, too. And did a pretty dang good job. It was only in that, like, last 100 years that it was like, this is a little bit iffy.
So, what's your choices for Jedi Master?
Curry Takai. I'd say number one. As much Qui-Gon's not on the list, to be honest.
Fair enough.
I would say number one would be Plo Koon. He seems like, he would be a very strict master, but also one who's very understanding, one who has a lot of kindness, and someone who would work with his apprentice to make sure that they're learning all they can, rather than just saying, like, okay, you got that, let's move on to the next lesson. Number two, I would say probably Obi-Wan Kenobi, but mainly because I feel like you'd get in all sorts of fun shenanigans with Obi-Wan.
Especially from the Clone Wars.
It would also just be fun to bounce wit off of him. Just coming up with comebacks for each other. That's the fun one. The fun one. The first one is like the serious, I'm here to learn. The second one with Obi-Wan is just, I'm here to have fun. But my third option would probably be Master Yoda. I feel like Yoda is the one you could learn the most from. Like, the absolute wellspring of knowledge that someone, like, 900 years old could give you. Like, that is a lot. So, if I had to pick one, gun to my head, probably Yoda.
Ooh, okay, this might be different. I might have a different one than y'all. Well, except one. One is pretty much obviously Qui-Gon, because he's the only Jedi literally been confirmed that Qui-Gon is the one that Palpatine feared. That says a lot, and not only that, he's basically the only Jedi to just follow the will of the Force and not get involved of any of the basic sticking the old ways, how the Jedi should be, and plus he's more. I think be the oh wow, how do I put this? He's also wise in his own way, but also a good and type of Jedi to have around. And the second one would be, this might be kind of a shock, Rom Koda. Because, I mean, the man literally dodged the bullet before the Clone Wars even began. Because he's like, yeah, I don't trust these clones, I'm going to be on my own militia. And he's like his own battle master in his own way. Like, you know, and I feel like they should be more Jedis like that. You know, like, yeah, we're just soldiers. We're meant to be part of the front line. But look what that happened to the Jedi. They fell of their arrogance. And, third one, I had to go with Quinlan Voss from the Legends EU. Because, well, for one, he was trained by Master Thrawn because learned how to be stealth, skillful at hand-to-hand combat. And that is something that I feel like some Jedi should do more often, is, you know, be like a hand-to-hand combat fighter. Because I said this in previous videos about when I gave my thoughts about the Acolytes. Episode 5 shows some hand-to-hand combats, and I just felt like, yes, I want to see more of that. You don't see any hand-to-hand combat in Star Wars. All you see is just lightsabers swinging, force abilities here. What about hand-to-hand? Y'all are supposed to learn hand-to-hand combat, like, but if you're like disarmed, then you guys basically fuck. Okay, then you guys never learn hand-to-hand combat. And Quinlan Voss, I'm not saying all the Jedi don't know how to throw hands. I mean, like, you have, Obi-Wan.
Master Windu.
Yeah, tell that. And, like, for example, Ahsoka, she knows how to throw some hands. And, who else? I know Savage Venture is not, well, she was a Jedi, but then she's a Dark Jedi. So, I just felt like
she showed herself pretty capable in the Bad Batch whenever she didn't need to pull out her lightsaber.
Until at the end, she did have to. Like, yeah, she was throwing hands. Like that's something I just wish we could have seen more of Jedi throwing hands without the lightsaber. It's like, okay, you got disarm. What the fuck you gotta do? Just take the shot? Then, you know, get hit? No, throw some hands. And Quinlan Voss is basically that type of person who could throw some hands. And he is brutal when it comes to hand-to-hand. Don't sleep on him. I know people say, oh, Quinlan Voss is just the worst Jedi. Like, have you not seen the Legends EU? Okay, then don't judge him. So, yeah, that will be my third option. Basically, Qui-Gon, Rom Koda, and Quinlan Voss. So, yep. The next one is similar, but Sith Master.
Alrighty.
Boy.
Well, okay. Say what you want about Dooku, but he was a great master as a Jedi or a Sith. Say what you want about the guy and his beliefs or what he did, but he knew what he was doing when it came to teaching his students.
And
if I did for my second choice, honestly, these two could be interchangeable for me. I would probably choose Revan.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think so long as I don't try to step up and challenge his authority, I think I'll be fine. Because you saw what happened to Malik when he tried that.
And your third?
And, my third. There are not a lot of good choices here.
Most people, this is what I've been seeing and heard. I've seen everyone's questionnaire. People chose Bane or Plagueis as their master.
I would never choose them. oh gosh, what was that other? There was this one Sith Lord. I forget his name. I wish I could remember, but he was essentially a Sith Lord who knew that he wasn't going to be the one to usher in the Empire, so he focused more on expanding the knowledge of the Sith.
And, oof. Do you know what race he was? Like,
He was human.
ah, shit. I can't remember. I don't know.
I remember. He was. Give me 1 second. Let's see. 1 sec. Let's see.
Sorry, guys. He had to freaking look it up. The reason why I said, like, people chose Bane or Plagueis, especially Plagueis, the most. And, because the people...
Okay, found it.
Alright.
Darth Effectivus.
That's new. Never heard of that Sith before.
Basically, he wasn't all. He basically devoted his life to basically studying the dark side and different Force techniques, rather than going out and trying to basically manipulate the galaxy, because he knew that he wasn't going to be the one to do it. So he thought it'd be best to spend his time actually researching the dark side of the Force and passing on his knowledge to those who would. So I think he seems to be the type to be... say what you want about the guy's end goals, because of the rule of two Sith and all that, but he does seem like he would be a good teacher.
So basically, I might as well go ahead and go next, because Concordia has something going on. So, I have to agree with Count Dooku, because, like, yeah, if I was a Sith, I would have Count Dooku as my master, because he's more strict for and make sure that you be trained by the dark side. Like, yeah, the training's not gonna be easy, so can you it's basically like the line how he says to Savage, like, are you able to handle the better use? And then, like, okay, if you can do it, then I'm pretty much gonna have to do it for you by force-slighting you to make you do it. And if you try to disobey him or fail his mission, fail the task that sent you, you're just gonna get electrocuted. But it's basically like your punishment, but hey, you wanna make amends? Do this. And I mean, Dooku said that more straightforward and understanding, and yeah, his motives on the Jedi lost the way, the Republic and the Senate are just being corrupted. And I would say a second Sith master. Ooh, that's a fucking tough one. Oof. Wow, I honestly don't know. That's the tough one. Who would be the good choice? Sure as hell, I'm not gonna be trained by Sidious, Vader, or Crate. Hell no. So that's no. You gotta be fucking crazy enough for that shit. Wow. I guess I don't have a second or third choice of who will be the option for Sith Master. I think Dooku's like the only best option for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I think if I was to be trained by a Sith Lord, it would be Dooku. Like, I can't think of any other that could possibly lead to a favorable outcome for me in the long run. And even that, I don't think training as a Sith Lord in general leads to a favorable outcome for you in the future. Especially with the rule of two, like, you're just going to end up getting killed by your apprentice. And if you don't get killed by your apprentice, then the other Sith Lords look at you like you did an awful job.
Yeah, like, I have seen, I went back on certain videos, like, the channel called Finalysis, aka Ready Force channel, where him, Great Giant 91, and Jinsarai 1, when they did their Star Wars questionnaire, it's like, okay, maybe our answer have changed here and there. All three of them chose Plagueis because they said, and I quote, Plagueis was just being the bad, doing his thing and being a scientist doing midichlorian stuff. We'll just be having an easy life. We do our thing, he doing his thing. So they saying that, yeah, killing Plagueis was a bad idea. Like, Plagueis would just be minding his business. He has no interest in ruling the Empire or conquer the galaxy. He's just being the bad, doing science or whatever. Just having an easy life as a Sith. Like, I can see why, but Plagueis is also not to be fucked with. Like, how do I put this? Was able to kill 3 unknown assassins who was trying to kill him while he was injured. And I understand why people chose Plagueis, but when it comes to perfect choice for a Sith, it's actually 100% Dooku. Like, he does care for his apprentice. Like, for example, when Sidious gave Dooku the order, like, hey, kill your assassin is getting stronger, that's the problem. But Dooku's like, but I don't want to. Like, he can tell he does care for his apprentice. Like, Asajj has no meaning of overthrown or betray Dooku. Like, it's out of respect, and it's because of Dooku. Dooku gave Ventress a life and a new purpose. So, like, I can't be the only one thing that Dooku actually does care for his apprentice. Like, he, for example, when he was a Jedi, he cared for Qui-Gon. That was his best apprentice that he ever trained. And the loss of Qui-Gon, that's just, that was a breaking point where he's like, yeah, I'm done. So, Dooku is like the only best option for a Sith. To be a Sith Master for anyone who wants to become a Sith. And speaking of Sith, we might as well go on to the next one, which is our Sith name, our Darth title. Like, if we're a Sith, what Sith name will be called?
That's a good question. Now here's one I didn't think about. I guess if I had to choose a Sith name, it'd probably be Darth Midori.
Darth Midori. So, for my Sith name, a while back, for some reason, I gave myself, like, Darth Mephiles or something like that. I was like, nah, that doesn't sound right. I gotta change that. So, this came to my head where you have, like, the Lord of Hunger, Lord of Pain, Lord of Betrayal. And my mind's like, wait a minute. What about Lord of Hatred? Then it just clicked. Like, oh, my Sith name would be Darth Mephisto. So, and I just like the name Darth Mephisto. It's had a ring to it. It fits perfectly. And for those who don't know, that's the reference from anyone who's a fan of Diablo. Anyone who's watching this. So, yeah. So, just waiting for Concordia to give us his answer for a Sith name.
I guess I'll start. Or go ahead.
I would say Darth Icky.
Huh?
No. Probably something like Darth Velicor or Velcor. This is something that invokes like a sense of like ancient power.
And what you were about to say, about 212?
Darth Didius.
Oh my. No. And I feel like they said, like, we gotta kill you. Like, wait, what? Why? That's the way of the Sith. Ah, son of a bitch.
So,
what you were about to say?
In case you don't know, tell me, do either of you know what the word Midori means?
Oh, son of a... Wait, hold on, time out. Is this what you sent me in private DM?
Maybe.
Oh, goddamn. Alright, go ahead.
Alright, so basically, the reason I've...
It's a color, isn't it?
Yeah.
It means green in Japanese. It means good.
Okay.
So, the reason I chose that was because when I was imagining myself as a Sith, I imagined a whole lot of black and green. And I was thinking, oh, Darth Midori. It's like...
Yeah,
specifically with the robes I might be wearing, so... like.
Yeah, and then your lightsaber will be green. Like, there are Sith out there who use other colors besides red. So, you be a Sith Lord with a green lightsaber.
Now I'm just picturing Doctor Doom as a Sith Lord.
Oh God. Oh, God. Whew. Lord Doom. Or, oh, God. And the next question, okay, limited to 3. Favorite film?
Okay.
Oh boy,
I got mine ready.
All right, go ahead.
All right, Concordia, you can go.
You sure?
Okay.
Alrighty, go
We've
ahead.
been switching up the order anyway, so.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, because you were muted, so I was like, yeah, I might as well go ahead while we wait.
Yeah, we'll just do musical chairs with the order. My top number 1 favorite Star Wars film of all time is Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite. I love the whole story and dynamic with Luke and Vader. I love all the scenes like on the sail barge and in Jabba's palace. I love the stuff on Endor. I even love the Ewoks. It's just my absolute favorite Star Wars film. Number 2 is Revenge of the Sith. That's the one I have the most nostalgic connection to, because I remember seeing that on the big screen back in 2005, and I just remember all the toys and merchandise that surrounded it. Like, you couldn't go anywhere without seeing something promoting Revenge of the Sith, and it was just such a magical time to be a Star Wars fan as a kid, growing up in the early 2000s. And then number 3, the one that's always got people groaning, but I can't deny it. Number 3, my third favorite Star Wars film is The Last Jedi. Screw you, I enjoy it.
I know, like, I was like, oh no, I know damn well we're gonna get to the favorite films. Like, yeah, here comes the Hellfire. I just have the feeling.
I'm sorry.
No,
I've watched The Last Jedi at least 12 times. I've probably seen it more. Each time I watch it, I just find more stuff that I like and less stuff that I dislike. There is stuff that I dislike. I do have problems with the film. But I'm sorry, I just don't get it. I just do not get it. Like, I watch it and I'm just like, this is a great film. I enjoy this so much. And then I see people, oh no, it sucks. It sucks. It's so bad. I'm like, I'm sorry that I don't see it. I want to see what you see. I just can't.
From a certain point of view.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think all 3 of us can agree about one thing about Mark Hamill's dark headcanon. How...
Yeah.
Ooh.
Tone it down, Mark.
Like, Jesus Christ, do we need to have a talk? Like,
Yeah.
do we need to have a talk?
I picture him, like, pitching that to Rian Johnson, and Ryan's just staring at him in shock, just like, Mark, it's Star Wars. Lasers and pew, 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 pew. Where did this come from? Mark, do you need to talk to someone?
It's I imagine, we all know how he does, the voice for the Joker. I imagine, like, he had the Joker, like, the back of his head just telling him that. It's just like...
Yeah.
Like,
I think one more thing, though, we all can agree with that film is that regardless of how you feel about Luke's portrayal in Last Jedi, Mark Hamill gave a damn good performance. Like, he gave his all into that performance.
he did say that I will do my best to make this good as I possibly can. He did say that.
Yeah, he gave a fantastic performance. Whether you enjoyed the story or not, you can tell Mark was giving his all. So I applaud him for that.
The one that kind of shocked me in the Last Jedi novelization is actually stated that Luke could hear his mother speaking to him before he died. That was even more gut-wrenching. Yep. Like, oh, you motherfucker. Because I still remember to this day, in theater, first time going to see The Last Jedi for the first time in theater, when they kill Luke, I literally cried because I hate myself because I jinxed it because when they finally gave us the title reveal, I was like, so help me God, if Luke dies and Rey's the Last Jedi, I'm gonna bust into tears. Luke Skywalker dies, like, motherfucker, come on. Like, God damn it.
But again, let's move on before this video becomes 12 hours.
Oh God.
Just
212. Yeah, 212. Go.
I mean, heck, we could probably have an entire another video about that subject. But anyways,
I'd be down for that.
So, my three favorite ones. Okay. So,
the holiday special is number one.
No!
I'll know that.
You know what? I'll have that as my honorable mention. Let's just...
What?
So, okay. My first... I would have to... This is probably everyone's... or most people's number ones, rather, I should say. But it is The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh my God, you are so basic. I'm kidding.
But I don't even know how to describe what I felt, because when I was first shown that movie, okay, so when I was a kid, about 7-ish years old, my folks bought me, all the movies that were out at the time, which was A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, and The Phantom Menace on VHS, and started with the originals. And when I first saw that, keep in mind, I knew nothing about Star Wars.
None of us did. We were kids.
And so whenever, Vader said, "No, I am your father," that completely blew my mind. I was like, no, he's lying. He's evil. He has to be lying.
Until Vader's like, search your feelings. You know it's to be true.
So you basically had the same reaction Yoda and Mace Windu did when it's like, hey, do you think what Dooku said is true about the Sith controlling the Senate? And Yoda's just like, nah, he's a bad guy now. He's lying. He's got a red lightsaber now. Look. Ooh, mean bad guy.
But anyways, second favorite. Again, you're probably gonna think I'm basic with this one too, but Revenge of the Sith.
That's my number 2 also. I'm not gonna call you basic for that one.
Fair enough. And third one, and this one actually tends to surprise people, that would be The Phantom Menace. Mainly because I've really liked Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon, and it also takes place during an era that we don't get to see a lot of, the pre-Clone Wars era. So, yeah.
Ooh, okay. My number 1 is Revenge of the Sith. it's always neck and neck between Revenge of the Sith and Empire Strikes Back. I can see either one to be the 1 or 2. It's just, I don't know. They're just so good in their own ways and right. If I had to put it number 1, is Revenge of the Sith. I just like how action it was. I still remember about when my dad bought the DVD of Revenge of the Sith and we watched it together and see the transformation of Anakin to Darth Vader. I felt the goosebumps. Like, the music in the background, just like, oh my god. Like, I was lost for words. Like, I didn't have nothing to say. And it just gave me the goosebumps. And it's, even going back and rewatching it several times, it's just like, it just felt good. Even more because, well, learning, thanks to the Clone Wars series, it's just made it more like, god damn it, why does it make it more tragic? And the second one has to be Empire Strikes Back, because it's iconic, classic, and everyone basically say is the masterpiece out of the trilogy, which I cannot disagree with that. And it's just, the story is good. It's just so good and in his own way, and I can't say nothing about the Empire Strikes Back. Again, it could have been number 1. Again, both Revenge of the Sith and Empire Strikes Back is always neck and neck to each other for number 1 or number 2. Like, they're just so good. Number 3, it was The Last Jedi. Until, oh boy, The Rise of Skywalker took that spot.
Really?
Yep. Because this is what I said, like, okay, I want to wait before I decide, okay, when all the 3 sequel trilogies out, I will have one favorite, but for now it was The Last Jedi. I want to see how Episode 9 will beat The Last Jedi. And you mentioned this before on your server, Concordia, about you get props of Daisy Ridley of her performance of Rey. Yeah. Like, yes, I will agree. She does a fantastic job. And the scream of, what she did accidentally, that she thought she killed Chewbacca, that hits me like, holy shit.
Yeah. I actually just watched that last night with my buddy Thomas while I was on my trip. We watched Rise of Skywalker last night.
And of course, like, I know people say they have some issues with Palpatine in his band. Like, dude, have y'all not read the Dark Empire trilogy? That's the thing. Like, how are y'all gonna complain about that where there's a comic that happened? Like, yeah. I don't see why people are bitching complain. I just had a feeling they're gonna go something similar trope like the Dark Empire, but the opposite, so to speak.
The thing I've seen from people is a little bit revisionist in my eyes. Is I bring up, well, they did this in Dark Empire. Why do you ever? And the usual response is, we didn't even like it back then. I'm like,
bullshit.
Dark Empire was like a hugely popular comic series.
But yeah, people fucking loved it. Hell, for fuck's sake, the reason why they go with that trope.
This is not me, and this is not even me defending them bringing Palpatine back, because I still do believe that was not the best choice. Like, I get why they did it, wanting to cap off the series with the primary villain. I just think that was the wrong choice way to go about it.
Yeah, and people saying, like, great, Anakin's sacrifice meant nothing. Like, you...
It still means everything. Like, I hate when people, they say, oh, Anakin's sacrifice meant nothing because he didn't destroy Sith. Anakin wasn't thinking about destroying the Sith when he threw Palpatine down that shaft. He was not thinking about the prophecy at all. He thought he had killed that a long time ago. That was probably the last thing on his mind. You know what he was thinking? I'm not going to let this wrinkly old scrotum bastard kill my son.
Yeah, and
that's what he was thinking. He was successful in saving his son. So it was not for nothing. His sacrifice was not for nothing.
And Palpatine always have a backup plan with something like this. Whatever, like if he dies, well, I got some backup to make clones of myself. Oh wait, the clones don't work because my Sith spirit, as said, will just kill the clone body. So I need an actual.
I just have too much aura.
And I just like the Rise of Skywalker, but there's something I did have issue with. I'm not saying it's the best. It have its own problems. And
yeah, my main issue with Rise of Skywalker is the pacing is on crack. The film needed to either cut some stuff and let a few other scenes breathe, or it needed to just bite the bullet and say, you know what, this movie's going to be 3 hours long.
yeah,
It needed to either focus on some scenes that should have gone on much longer, or it should have just been made longer to begin with.
right. And it's the death of Leia. I was like, oh god, I freaking tear. Like, god damn it. And then Chewie's reaction, that got me.
Chewie's reaction ripped my heart out.
I was like, oh.
He doesn't just cry, he falls to his knees.
No, that hits me like, oh, I felt that. And see, somehow they managed to get Harrison Ford bad. That got me too.
Yeah.
And then I was like, if I cry again one more time, I'm gonna bust out in tears. Force goes Luke Skywalker. I cried because I said it before that. I swear to God, if I see Force goes of Luke Skywalker, I'm gonna cry. Motherfucker.
And then Force Ghost of Leia at the end.
And I was like, oh, just twist the knife. Come on. Just twist the knife, or don't you? And some people people don't pay attention or do the research of Rey's new lightsaber. People say, oh, it's yellow. No, it's white golden. It's confirmed in the novel. It may look like yellow, but it's lighted gold in a way.
Potato.
Yeah.
As long as you got the general color right, I'm not gonna harp on you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but the one thing I remember from Rise of Skywalker is Rey.
Oh my god. And
yeah, I think people harp on that whole thing way too much because they'll just be, oh, Poe's only thing in all these movies was just screaming Rey. No, he did way more than that. You just want to reduce him to that one line because you think it's funny.
yeah.
I'm actually, despite my dislike for the sequel trilogy, I actually agree with you there. I think that's not, I just find it funny. It's
it's funny the first 3 times you see it, and then that's all people say in your comments on a video talking about the sequels on your channel that you're trying to get going, and you try to say, hey, here's some things I enjoyed about the sequels, and all you see is people saying Rey.
And the one that I did like, the one that I like from the Rise of Skywalker is hearing all the previous Jedi that came before was, oh my god.
Yeah.
And in the actual guidebook for the Rise of Skywalker, they were supposed to add this in the film, but they cut it off, showing some references of all the Sith Lords from the Old Republic, the Knights of the Old Republic, towards now. It's like, oh my god, you son of a bitch, why would you cut that?
Well, another thing, there was also footage of the actors actually shot, not just their voices, but it was decided to just have the voices later on. So, Sam Jackson apparently was there and got into costume to play a Force Ghost of Mace Windu, but I guess it was all cut for one reason or another.
So, now we're going to move on our 10th least favorite film.
Ooh.
Shall I?
Okay.
Who wants to go first?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll hold on to my rant for a little bit.
Uh-oh. Go 212.
The Last Jedi. But it's, believe it or not, it actually has nothing to do with, okay, a little bit to do with the movie, but that's not the biggest part of my dislike. My issues with it are actually very mild in comparison to a lot of stuff you might hear on the internet.
Right.
But, so my biggest issue, and to be fair, this is just more the environment around it at the time rather than the movie itself. But I just remember going, like, after I saw the movie, I just had some very mild criticisms of it. I was like, okay, I don't know how I necessarily feel about this part of it, or how I felt about, you know, Luke pulling his lightsaber on Ben and stuff like that. And I was, well, immediately berated with, oh, you just believe that because you voted for Trump. And I'm like, what? It's like,
Oh God, let's
what
not.
does that have to do with anything?
Let's not bring it to politics in this.
Hey, I got read enough of politics.
All right, what is your second least?
Oddly enough, though, that's one thing I have noticed is the people who say let's not have politics in Star Wars are typically the ones who are the loudest when talking about the politics in the films.
Right.
But anyways, yeah, I can go on about that for a while, but that's the basic gist of why I don't really like that. Anyways, so that's my most disliked film.
Just the last.
My second?
Okay.
My second? It would actually be Rise of Skywalker.
Oh boy, if I had to guess the third one.
It's like okay, so let me make this clear. So The Last Jedi is the one film that I could actually put in the dislike category, but that's all thing, all its own, the whole environment around that. I didn't particularly feel anything for the Rise of Skywalker. I mean, I'll say this much. For me, it felt like it had more going for it than The Last Jedi. There was some things that I did legitimately like in it, but overall, it just didn't feel like it was for me. And number 3 would actually be The Force Awakens. So I don't know if I can necessarily say this is a dislike, because I actually like The Force Awakens.
Yep, I just had a feeling.
I would never put this in. I would never put that in my top 3 or top 5 in terms of what movies I like the best. But I did enjoy The Force Awakens, so take that for what you will.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people, especially what I mentioned before about the Finalysis, when they did their Star Wars film ranking. They have the sequel trilogy below. They say, and I call it's just not for them. They just don't like it, which is fine. It's not for everyone. I get that. But I was like, wow, okay. But when I read the comment, they were like, yeah, screw those sequel trilogy. They're terrible. They should not be canon or something like that. Like, God damn. I get it. Y'all hate it, but everyone has their own opinion. But don't just bash it like shit. Like, damn.
Yeah.
But
it's very vitriolic. I put up a video, you guys might have seen it, just talking about how the lightsaber effects were done for the sequels. And wouldn't you know, you can't even talk about the behind-the-scenes effects of the sequels without bringing in people who have to complain about the sequels. It's literally like breathing to some fans. They cannot go 3 minutes, or they cannot go a minute without complaining about the sequels, or they will explode.
Yep.
He's just a Disney shill.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
Like, I was like, hey, the prop lightsabers for the sequels were made of this and this and that. It's like these movies suck. The fighting was so slow. God, why did they have to do that to Luke? I'm like, where were we talking about that?
Okay, I'm gonna go into mine because I know Concordia has a lot he wants to say, but I want to go ahead and get mine out of the way. To this day, my least favorite out of, in my opinion, is Attack of the Clones. This is just, I don't know. I get George trying to make a romance story like he did with the Empire, but didn't work. But I get it, but I don't know why I dislike it. I even going back rewatch it, I just don't like it. I don't know. I wish I had a reason behind it, and I've been trying to find and get a good reason, but I just don't know why. And the second one is, oh boy, The Phantom Menace. And I just feel like George Lucas didn't have a plan because he had to add that freaking pod racing. Oh, I literally fell asleep until I woke up, see the fight scene between Maul against Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. I fell asleep on the freaking pod racing. It's like he didn't have any plan that he wants to go along with it. Like, I get it, they need, what was it, the hyperdrive? What was it? What was it, the hyperdrive they need for the ship?
Yeah, it was the hyperdrive.
Yeah, like, I get it, but at the same time, it was taking too long. Like, good lord, I get it. Trying to build the story of, Qui-Gon sees the boy being the chosen one, doing what he does as a Jedi, freeing the boy from slavery. Like, okay, true, that's the way of the Jedi. He did the right thing. But I just wish they just got to the point of it. And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
But I'm not saying the film is bad. It's just like, the pod racing just got boring, and the fight scene, I will admit, the fight scene are good. The music, top notch. There's no debate on that. Like the Duel of Fate, it's just, the music of it's just so freaking good. Even learning behind why the music called Duel of Fate is the fate of Anakin Skywalker. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. And I know people give so many shits the prequel trilogy back then, like, I don't know, threatening a young kid who just playing the character, which, what the fuck is wrong with y'all people? And Ray Park did a fantastic job as Darth Maul, and he's still killing it to this day. And the third one, Rogue One. Yeah. I just didn't care for the characters. The character was dry. The music was good. The world was top notch, but it's just the characters just maybe lost interest in it. The only reason why the film was so successful is because Darth Vader. Of course, we gotta have Darth Vader in the mix because that's how they make money out of it. Because Vader is that freaking catch grab. And was it cool to see Vader's castle in live action? Oh, hell yes. I'm not gonna argue with that. And I still stand by about why should we have Andor? Because why should we get attached to the character that we already know his fate? I'm sorry, that's just me.
Oh. Well, tell me, did you like the Clone Wars series?
Yeah.
Well, Anakin's fate. Obi-Wan's fate. It's like, yet you still watched it and you enjoyed it.
At least they did it right on like Rogue One. But it's just, but the ending, I did like how the ending was, that ties into the New Hope, which I did like that. It's just, I just couldn't care for the characters. Like, why should we care? But one thing I will give prompts that they do kill them all, because like I'm getting tired of people sparing these characters, say, oh, we got plans for them. Like, no, the fuck you don't. You just want to keep having them around to make money out of it. Just let them fucking die. Let them be at peace. At least friggin' Rogue One did something right. But that's just me and my opinion. I just don't like Rogue One, and the Attack of the Clones is my least favorite. I wish I had a reason behind it. It's just I don't know why. Phantom Menace.
I'll give you one in a minute.
The Phantom Menace. It was just the pod racing just maybe got boring until we get to the nitty-gritty part.
I gotta disagree. I actually quite like the pod racing scene.
I mean, and that's fine. And that's fine. I mean, like, everyone have their own opinions.
All right.
It's like,
my turn.
uh-oh.
Fair enough.
So, my number one least favorite Star Wars movie of all time is one that's often forgotten about. The 2008 Clone Wars movie, which I do count because it was theatrically released.
Fair enough.
And it was written by George Lucas, so I count it.
Fair enough.
That said, this was the most nothing movie in the entire series. It was basically just a couple episodes of the show that was going to be coming out, stitched together to make a movie. And it was not a good movie. In fact, it was very bland, very forgettable. I think the whole plot of a Star Wars movie being boiled down to, oh no, Jabba the Hutt's son has been kidnapped, and also I've got an apprentice. What? That's so wacky, isn't it, guys? I'm Anakin. I'm Mr. Macho. I shouldn't have an apprentice. Yeah, we get it. And then that's the whole movie. That is literally the whole movie. They got in some of the voice actors from the films to voice their characters like that. That was Christopher Lee's last appearance in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Was playing Dooku in the Clone Wars animated movie. And Christopher Lee's very last contribution to Star Wars was just him going, But I digress. But overall, the movie is just so boring. It's so uninteresting. The plot is just so cookie cutter and uninteresting. Even the action, like they hadn't really gotten down the whole style of what the Clone Wars would become. Like if you look at the Clone Wars movie and compare it to like season 7 and see just how fluid and excellent everything is with the animation, and not only that, just the choreography, like of the fight scenes. It's fantastic. And the movie itself almost put me off watching the show. But I decided, you know what? I don't have anything to do on Thursday nights. I think that's when the show premiered. So I'm like, I'll watch the show, and I'm so glad I did, because the show ended up becoming one of my favorite things in Star Wars. That movie, however, it could disappear from this planet, and I would just completely forget about it.
If I might, there was one scene that I still really liked in that movie, though, which was
there are some moments I like in it, like primarily with the two battle droids on.
Oh, dude, that's what I was about to say.
On the mountain. I love those two droids.
Fire on Sector 2138. 2131. Just
fire right there. That was great. And the get back here, Sergeant. After he falls off a freaking cliff. That was good. But overall, just the movie just did nothing for me.
Right.
And I can tell you it did even less for my dad, who was upset that we dragged him to the theater to see it, and he comes out like, I'm so confused and lost that I didn't know what any of that was.
Oh my god.
So, number 2. And this is my least favorite of the main saga films.
Okay.
And I want to preface it by saying I still do enjoy it. I still watch it every once in a while. But Attack of the Clones is the worst film in the 9-film Skywalker saga. Hands down, you can try to change my mind. You can try to convince me otherwise. It's just not. You're never going to change my mind. you are never going to change my mind on it. Attack of the Clones is the most disjointed, overly long. I forgot until I watched it not too long ago just how long the movie is. And just all around messy Star Wars film I've ever seen. Like, people talk about, oh, Rise of Skywalker's a mess. Like, did you see Attack of the Clones? For one thing, the pacing is some of the worst I've ever seen in Star Wars. It goes all over the place. It cuts back and forth to Obi-Wan having his whole slow-paced mission, and then you got slow pacing with Anakin and Padme on Naboo. Then all of a sudden, action scene, and then you get to the Battle of Geonosis, and it's like, all right, so now we're going to get things back on track here. No, once you get to Geonosis, the pacing basically just becomes a sprint to the end credits. Not only that, there's some really stupid decisions they made in Attack of the Clones. And again, if I had my script here, because I've talked about this before, I could go into more like detail, but I'm just going for the big points here. I think Attack of the Clones has one of the biggest jumping the shark moments in terms of absolute character stupidity I have ever seen. Dooku captures Obi-Wan on Geonosis, and he straight up tells Obi-Wan that the Republic is under the control of the Dark Lord of the Sith. Now, Obi-Wan obviously and understandably doesn't necessarily believe Dooku because he thinks he's trying to turn me to the dark side. But Obi-Wan would then later tell Mace Windu and Yoda about what Dooku said. And their response is, nah, he's just lying. They don't even look into it, despite the fact that looking into it and revealing that Chancellor Palpatine could be the Sith Lord because he is controlling the Republic would answer so many questions. But they just dismiss it outright. And people say, well, that's the point. The Jedi were complacent, and it was showing that they had grown too arrogant. No. There's complacency, and there's downright stupidity. That is just beyond the realms of what I can accept for these supposedly wise Jedi. Especially Yoda. Like, I could buy it if maybe they looked into it, but that Palpatine was covering his tracks too well. But we get from Attack of the Clones is Windu saying, maybe we should keep a closer eye on the Chancellor. No, you investigate this right now. You investigate. You do your research. Verify that what Dooku is saying is false, because if you don't, there's a chance that your mortal enemy is controlling the Republic. You don't know where this clone army came from. You don't know how Cypodius ordered it. You don't know anything right now. You've got to do some research.
I mean, what do you think? Few Jedi refuse having...
Even in the Clone Wars show, where they do actually go into it and start doing some research, even then, it just seems like they kind of stop when they get sidetracked.
Like, look, I mean, same goes for... I mean, like, there are some Jedis just don't like the clones, like Ram Koda, Quinlan, and Pon Krell. Those three, for example. Like, even Ram Koda, I mentioned before, Ram Koda left the Order before the Clone Wars even begins. Like I sense something's not right, so I'm gonna leave, build my own militia, and fuck you, fuck this clone that just appeared out of fucking nowhere. I just felt something's not right.
Yeah.
Because
every Jedi in these films is like, oh, there's something not right. I sense a great darkness. And then even Mace Windu, like, the dark side of the Force surrounds the Chancellor. Gee, could it be that whole thing that maybe he's the Sith Lord, like Dooku said, and you just completely ignored for 3 years? But that's my major story complaint. Let's talk about some of the other aspects of the film. The choreography and the editing during the last duel is not very good. I do not like that duel, mainly because it cuts to a different shot every 2 seconds, so you can't really appreciate the choreography. You got that stupid rave dance moment with Anakin and Dooku. I think the choreography during the Yoda and Dooku fight is absolutely ridiculous. I'm pretty sure they just told Lee's stunt double, yeah, just flail around with the lightsaber. We'll make it look cool. We'll add Yoda in. And like, if you go back and watch the Battle of Geonosis, look at some of these Jedi in the background. They're swinging at nothing. Like, they're not even blocking bolts. There's some Jedi back there that are just swinging around at nothing. Because, again, you know they were just told, flail around, you're in the background, no one's going to be paying attention. But if you really watch it, especially if you're watching it in, like, 4K or, like, a higher resolution, it's kind of hard not to notice. And, of course, you got all the love dialogue, the love scenes. Everyone knows those are bad. And then, probably one of my biggest gripes with the film is just visually, the CGI has aged the worst out of any Star Wars film. The scene where Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Windu are walking alongside each other in the Jedi Temple talking to each other.
The deleted scene.
Looks like a PS2 cutscene.
It is basically as a deleted scene. They didn't add it. It's just being a deleted scene.
Yes.
Whew.
Yeah. All my major issues with Attack of the Clones aside, there are still things I enjoy about it. I still do, as a whole, find enjoyment in the movie. It's just my least favorite. Then, number 3 is The Phantom Menace, which I like most of it. I like most of The Phantom Menace. I think the CGI has aged actually better than Attack of the Clones. I think they used a lot more practical effects in that one. And, again, like 212 said, loved Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon, loved Ewan as Obi-Wan. The main issue I have is that you got Jar Jar, who, if you remove him from the film, the whole plot kind of falls apart, which is not a good sign. That so much of this massive story showing the beginnings of the story of Anakin Skywalker, so much of it hinges on Jar Jar Binks. Not a great thing.
Lucas said it himself. Jar Jar. He's the key to all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Which leads me to believe Lucas enjoys drinking. But I digress. I think there's a good chunk of the film that's just straight up fun and action. Like, you can separate the film into chunks of this is great and amazing, and chunks of this is boring and dull. Most of the stuff on Coruscant, including the stuff in the Jedi Temple, boring and dull. Most of the stuff on Tatooine, for me, I find very interesting, especially, I know, Shadow, you don't like it, but I really enjoy the pod race. I really enjoyed the pod race. I love the duel, that brief little duel with Maul and Qui-Gon on Tatooine. And I love all the stuff on Naboo at the end with the final battle. So, overall, very, very mixed bag of a movie, which is why it is number 3, but I still do enjoy it, especially more than Attack of the Clones. So, sorry for that rant there, but there you go.
I don't know, like, ooh, wow.
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the title?
The next question, basically we gotta choose, like, 1, not 3 for this one. Novel choices, basically what kind of story that we wouldn't mind telling, that basically some characters who deserve their own books in a way, from Legends EU or whatever.
This is a fairly easy one for Concordia. He wrote an entire series.
I wrote mine. Go listen to it. It's there. I did it.
I did the thing. Mama, I did it. You're proud of me. You're fucking disappointed. Like, you are fucking family. You're like, but no buts.
I'll abstain from this one because the whole plot of the whole selling point, the idea that got me going to write the Book of Cassius was just a question of, what if one of these random background Jedi we see in this scene in Revenge of the Sith just walking through the temple, what is their story? What if they had a story? And so I decided, let's tell one of their stories. So yeah, I'll abstain from this one. I'll let you guys do it.
the one thing I'm very interested, I wouldn't mind tell a story of what happens Darth Zana after her defeat her master. Like, what happens? Basically, I want to see the legacy of the Rule 2 towards, Plagueis and Sidious. Like, okay, I'm basically curious because people want to know what happened to her afterward, because we honestly get no information of what happened to Zana later on. How
you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. I'm sorry.
And no, Zana deserves some more of attention as well. I mean, yeah, she does give some more loves here and there, but not a lot. And plus, I don't know. I just want to see more continuation of the legacy from Darth Bane towards, that we all know now, to Sidious, so to speak. I just felt needed. I mean, we were supposed to get the Sword of the Jedi, motherfuckers. And I don't know. I just felt like Zana deserved her own spin-off story. And I know some people who are hardcore, I don't know who is, but I know there are a lot of people who hardcore fan to Darth Zana and want to tell stories about her. Like, okay, that's fine. I mean, tell your own story. I mean, even though it's not freaking canon, and I don't want to go into that. So, yeah, that's basically the novel choices I wouldn't mind tell a story. So, 212.
And I guess this could be interpreted in a few different types of media, but personally, because obviously, I mean, we do get to see things in the Clone Wars from the side of the Confederacy, like, every once in a while, and typically from those that are, not the greatest of people. But what I would like to see is some sort of story about, because in the Clone Wars, while obviously the main focus was, the clones and the droids and everything around that, I would like to see a story about, someone who's maybe in a militia group, and you're following his story. You come to understand why he joined the Confederacy, why he's fighting for their side, and just shine a light that, hey, it's like there are people that are just caught up in this. It's like, and I mean, to be fair, if you look into it, you'll find that, yeah, there were a lot of people that were actually fighting for the Confederacy and actually had a legitimately good reason to do so, and they weren't caught up in the machinations of greed or political power or Palpatine's plans. And personally, I'd like to see a story that focuses a little bit more on that. So yeah, I might write a story about someone who's basically been put in that position because they feel it's either the best for them, or they feel they just have no choice in the matter.
Alright, the next question is favorite soundtrack. Ooh, okay.
Okay.
I think I only have 3. It's more like I would say I forget the name. It's the theme where in The New Hope where Luke looks at the sunset. I forget the name. What's the
Binary Sunset?
Thank you. For some reason, I just felt like it felt like Star Wars. Like you could feel it, like you don't know, like you feel like there's something out there that you want to explore. It felt like the starting point of the adventure, and it's the most iconic, and you just felt like it felt like Star Wars. The second one is obviously the Duel of Fate, and it's like, holy crap, it's just good. Third one, I mean, it's only neck and neck. But if I had to choose one, I would say the Battle of Mustafar, Anakin versus Obi-Wan. It's just, it's just so good. And there's really not much I could go over about the soundtrack. They're just so good.
Well, for me, I guess I would actually have to go with the opening theme for Star Wars. In the what do you call it? The prologue scrolls or whatever.
Yeah, I would say
something that
I would just call it
title crawl.
Yeah,
title crawl. Yeah. And well, my number two. My number two would definitely need to be Duel of the Fates, which I have a lot of nostalgia around that one in particular. I mean, that was one of the first things I watched. And, yeah, whenever... Side note, so, yeah, when I was a kid, it was the action scenes that really drew me in, but when I grew up, I learned to appreciate some of the more slower scenes. Just thought I'd throw that in. But anyways, yeah, Duel of the Fates, love that. So, in a third one, I think this is the name of it, but please correct me if I'm wrong and you actually know. I think it's, what is it called? Vader's Dark Deeds? No, I don't think so. It's the
Anakin's soundtrack.
It's the one that it's essentially the one that plays whenever Order 66 is going on.
Oh yeah.
Order 66 is, I think it's Anakin's betrayal, but it's also just called Order 66.
All right.
But then when he's killing the separatists on Mustafar, that's Anakin's Dark Deeds.
It's like mixing into one soundtrack for Anakin.
Okay, so honestly, either of those could fit into that slot.
Alrighty, Concordia.
I would say number one for me has to be Binary Sunset, specifically from A New Hope. That is what I think of every time Star Wars is mentioned. That plays in my head like a little jingle. Number two, main title crawl / approaching the Death Star from Return of the Jedi, because that is all one piece. You got the opening title crawl, which is always a classic, but then it leads into Vader's appearance on the second Death Star in Return of the Jedi. And then number three, I would say Princess Leia's theme from A New Hope.
Alright.
It's just such a beautiful piece.
Alright, the next one is pretty much the...
But I think we can all agree that there's really no bad music in Star Wars.
Oh, no, there isn't. If some people say there is, then there's something wrong with y'all people. But the next one is basically...
People like to say, oh, Jedi Rocks from the special edition of Return of the Jedi. You know what? Jedi Rocks slaps, so shut your mouth.
Yeah. The next one is basically the easiest one. Do you collect figures? Okay, any merchandise, something like that. Used to, but not anymore.
I'm gonna have to give that same answer. I mean, occasionally I'll find something, but that catches my eye. But for the most part, I don't really do. I've got
a couple of figures, but that's not the main merchandise I collect from Star Wars. I mainly collect lightsabers.
Yeah, so there's nothing much to go into this. So yeah, like I said, it's the easiest, fastest answer or question to be answered. Now we finally reached the last three. 14 is, what is the best thing about the EU? Whew, okay. I might as well go first because I don't have nothing to say. I would say the best thing about EU is telling more stories and not mean, sure, there are the old characters that we don't know will have their own story, but they just be like, you know, behind and not be the main characters. Like, for example, like the solo children, like being the main characters, where the original characters are just there to mentoring them to be a better person. They take that mentor role, so to speak, and also explored more lore and the galaxy and see new characters along the way. And it's just very good and fascinating. And it's a galaxy is a huge world that you can explore and tell a story, and not having the characters that we all know. You can make your own story that does not focus on the OGs from the original and the prequel. Like, for example, just like how Concordia mentioned about, you know, what the novel he would chose, like focusing on other characters. Like, sure, you can have like a cameo of the characters, just not focusing on them, and have some characters who deserve some moments here and there, like Sarah Keto, for example. Like, surprisingly, he did a fantastic job to give her more attention, more moments and screen time here and there.
Right.
And that, I would say, I was kind of surprised in how well written that he did. Even bring a Syndraulic involved. Like, sure, he hasn't done much, and all he has been staying in the Jedi Temple, but seeing him get out for a bit, it's like, okay, that's a good change of pace. Like, I want to see more of Syndraulic, and we got a little bit more of it. Something like that sort of way. Like, give some characters their moments, their time to shine, instead of just the characters that we all know and love. Sure, add them a cameo, or they're just there, or be like a second side character. Like, you focus on this character, not the OG. This is their story, not them. We already know their story. Give the characters a chance. So yeah,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, that's basically why the best thing about the EU is giving some characters their time to shine, their storytelling, and make a new characters, like I mentioned before, these solo children, and have the OG be the mentor role, not as the main character, just like mentoring the next generation of the heroes. So yeah, that's the best thing about the EU, in my opinion.
So there's two ways I interpret this, which is, you know, what do I think is the best thing in the EU, and what do I think is the best thing about the EU? Let me explain what I mean by that. So, what I think the best thing about the EU is just that, well, there's so much more to Star Wars than the main story that everybody else knows. There's so much, it shows just how much you can lose yourself in this world. It's like, so, and, well, for me, what I consider to be the best thing in the extended universe, that is, oh, there's so much.
Yeah.
I guess if I had to choose my absolute favorite thing, it's kind of a bit of a toss-up for me. Like, almost everything around Revan, I absolutely love that. Like, and I guess, I'm thinking about it now. There's just so much more than that.
Like I said, it's.
I mean, I love Thrawn. I love Starkiller. I just.
Again, it's a huge world, and it's hard to, like, oh god, there's so many. Yeah, that's the point, because the Legend EU is expanded the universe in Star Wars. Like, it's all about imagination. It's about the story and everything. That's the best part of it, and that's what makes it so good and fascinating to the Star Wars fan. How much we all love the expanded universe. How that tell the story of their own way. So yeah. So Concordia.
I think the best thing about the EU was that it was, at least when it started, such a blank canvas for creators to tell unique stories. Now, whether those stories were good or whether they were bad, it was still a whole unique landscape for them to say, what if Luke, Han, and Leia went to this planet, and what did they see when they got there? Or coming up with new worlds and coming up with new species and new threats. The creative landscape, I think, that was offered by the EU was the best thing about the EU. As for what I think was the best story of the EU, this is not the most popular opinion. I know people do like it, but usually people will point to the Thrawn trilogy or Darth Plagueis or the Darth Bane series. But I think the best story in the EU was Matthew Stover's Revenge of the Sith, because it gives so much amazing context to the downfall of Anakin, to the point where I firmly believe if Matthew Stover's Revenge of the Sith was the movie itself, like if everything from that novel was in the movie, it would hands down, undisputed, be the greatest Star Wars movie ever. There would be no debate, no doubt. It's that good.
Especially, like, the story goes in depth. Like, when Anakin fully becomes Darth Vader, like, there was no dragon, there was no nothing. There was only Anakin Skywalker. Yeah. Only you is
and
you.
And it delves so much more into Anakin's turn. It shows it wasn't all just about, I just want to save Padme's life. That wasn't the sole reason. There's many points in the book where you see Anakin's inner darkness peeking through, and points where he says, yeah, you know what? I want power. I want to be the one in control.
Yeah, it's
just fantastic. It's written so well.
And people are talking about it ever since the Revenge of the Sith is now back in theaters for the 20th anniversary? Yep. And people now talk about the books, like, and the movies, like, people are like, oh, wow, just wow.
Although, technically, it was only its 19th anniversary because... Or no, it was its 20th, never mind.
And...
It was a little early for its 20th, though. It came out a month early. Like, the film was released on May 19th, 2005, so I think they should have released it in May.
And... Now, the next one is, what is the worst thing about the EU? Ooh. I would say there are some that are bad. Because people say, the expanding universe are perfect. No, it has its own flaws, it has its own issues. But, that's a tough one. That really is a tough one. I cannot say. I mean, I'm just gonna sit this one out because I can't think of anything. What is the worst thing? It's hard to say because there are some good ones, but there are some bad ones. But it's just hard to say what is the worst thing. That's a difficult one for me. So I'm gonna sit this one out and just go with the go for the win. It's like, I just don't see the worst thing. There are some bad things and there's some good things. I'm the middle ground type of person, but I just don't see any worst thing about the EU, in my opinion.
Ken Palpatine.
Huh? This man is going like Vegeta, like.
No. So I would say, from a story perspective, yes, the worst thing about the EU was the Jedi Prince saga. That is undeniable garbage, in my opinion. But I would also say that the EU has a lot more problems than people like to admit. Like, for one thing, there was always a new super weapon every week. Yeah, they had what was the Sun Crusher, Dark Saber. We had those World Devastators, and it just felt like they were just trying to recreate the Death Star just in a different sense. But I always think the biggest problem I had with the expanded universe was as the characters got older and the stories got bigger and bigger, the Jedi characters, especially characters like Luke Skywalker, stopped feeling realistic because, of course, it's a big story. We want him to have even bigger and bigger powers. But when Luke is leveling entire armies with a Force push, when he uses green Force lightning that kills on contact, when he has just God-tier abilities, it removed any sense of worrying for the character's safety. By the time we got to the stuff with the Yuzon Vong, I never thought Luke was going to be killed in battle. I knew, he'll die at some point, but it'll be of old age. And surprisingly, that's to our knowledge is how he died in Legends, was just old age. But
yeah,
I never felt concerned for Luke. I always knew that they had made him so powerful that there really wasn't any true threat to him from a power perspective.
Abeloth.
Even Abeloth. I get it. Yeah, he had to team up with others, but even then, I was never worried that Luke was going to die to Abeloth. I knew Luke's going to find some way to get out of this, and it's going to go back to the same old, same old.
But that doesn't mean he's going to be fucked up. You were injured, but you did come out alive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mainly just... I feel like they went a little too far with the whole Grandmaster Luke thing. Because I think there were ways to make him very powerful without making him a dang superhero.
Alright.
That's what I think was my least favorite part about the EU.
Alrighty. 212.
Already answered.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, well, damn. Okay. Alrighty. So, now we finally reach the final question of this questionnaire and for this video. What does Star Wars means to you? Ooh. Okay.
What is Star Wars?
I would say... it's hard.
Go ahead.
I would say Star Wars, to me, it felt like you jump in another world and you're in the world of Star Wars with these characters. You grew up with these characters. You know these characters. And it's like you don't want to leave. You want to stay and be around these people. And it felt like, again, it's like a book, but you're watching on TV. You're seeing all of this play out. You know the events. You know what's going to happen. And you just felt like you're part of it. You felt like you're in this world. It felt like an escape, basically. And, like, the adventure, the journey, and get to know these people. You felt these characters like real people in a way. And Star Wars is basically, well, not just the world, it's also, well, the galaxy and far, far away. And it's just felt, how do I put it? It felt, how do I put this? I can't describe it. It's just felt like you want to be part of it. You want to be in the journey, so to speak. And that's basically what Star Wars means to me. It's just felt like an escape, a world that you do not want to leave. And it felt like, well, felt right. And that's basically what I'm feeling. It's hard to describe what Star Wars really means to me in my heart. It will always have a special place in my heart. Even though I have some things I have issue how Star Wars is now. But again, I'm in the middle ground. But there's some things I do like, some things I just don't like. But Star Wars will always have a special place in my heart because I grew up with Star Wars. The first ever Star Wars that I watched as a kid from that my nana has the VCR tape of The Return of the Jedi. And I'm still going to remember this to the day I die. I always going to remember when Luke Skywalker have his green lightsaber and telling Leia, get the gun, point at the deck. I'm still going to remember that to the day I die, and that's how I got into Star Wars and how much Star Wars means a lot to me because, again, we grew up these characters, especially Luke. Luke is my hero, and he will always be my hero, no matter what people say. And it's all because of Luke. If it wasn't for Star Wars, I wouldn't be a Star Wars fan. This channel would not exist because of Star Wars, and it's because of Luke Skywalker, how much he meant everything to us, meant everything to me. Well, I have to thank George Lucas, the actors, everyone who was involved in Star Wars in the past, from the original and the prequel and the Clone Wars, just brought Star Wars in my life. It's just, Star Wars helped me to get out of life because of what I've been through and all. So, again, it's just, Star Wars meant everything to me, and it will always be part of my childhood, no matter what. So, that's basically what Star Wars actually means to me.
Star Wars means to me. For me, it was the first story that I guess you could consider to be like an epic adventure and a long line storytelling that I ever saw. And once I realized how deep that this world ran and just how vast the universe was, it was something I could lose myself in. It was for the longest time for me, Star Wars has always been, I guess, a sort of comfort universe of sorts, I guess you could say. And while I may have my issues with it from time to time, I've never been able to tear myself away from it. I mean, even my channel name, 212th Trooper. Take a guess which my favorite clone battalion is.
The 303rd.
That is my favorite fan battalion, yes. But anyways, yeah, I very much enjoy Star Wars. It's meant a lot to me, and it's had no small impact on me in terms of like how I go about writing my own stories.
Right. Alrighty, Concordia.
What does Star Wars mean to me? Star Wars has given me some of the most amazing things in my life. For one thing, if it weren't for Star Wars, this channel would not exist. Concordia Jedi, it would not exist. I would not have met either of you two. I would not have met any of the guys on the server who have become such great friends. Cassius wouldn't be around. You know, none of this stuff. And I think my life would be a whole lot emptier because of it. Because to me, Star Wars has always been not just a series of movies or shows or games or books to me. Star Wars to me has always been a gateway into the imagination, a gateway into the creativity that's inside every single one of us. I don't think any series I've ever seen has ever stoked my imagination as much as Star Wars. The fact I wrote a 9-book series all about a fan character set in Star Wars shows you just how much passion I have, all because of Star Wars. Just everything that it's given me, not just great movie-going experiences, but all those memories of playing outside with my friends, fighting with our lightsabers, pretending we were on Tatooine, pretending we were on Mustafar, just battling and going inside when the sun goes down, all to just go inside and watch Star Wars again. Star Wars to me is, I think, it's an icon of a series to me. It is my favorite series. It's the one that means the most to me, and it's the one I connect with the most on an emotional level, not just as a fan, but as someone who has been blessed with many things, including friends and this channel, and all of it stemming back to that one thing, Star Wars. So Star Wars means the world to me.
Well said. That's really well said. So,
Yeah, I don't think I could have said it better.
yes. And so that's all the 16 question on Star Wars Questionnaire, and it's been going over like 2 hours. I'm looking at
just a shy under a decade.
Yeah, I know, right? And it is pretty much fucking worth it. I have no regrets of this. To be honest, I didn't expect it was going to be this long, but I'm not going to question it. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know your answers of these questions down below. I'll leave the question in the comment section so you guys can check those for yourself. And again, I want to thank 2 of my friends to company joining with me for this one. And if you guys want to support them, I'll have the link of their channels down below in the description box. Go subscribe to them, give them some love and support. And if you guys are interested in the Book of Cassius, the prequel of Takai, and the other spin-off story of, well, folks that's not focused on Cassius, go check that out on Concordia's server. If you guys, channel. If you guys interested in gameplay, 212 does that sometimes whenever he has the chance. Again, link of their channels down below in the description box. Go to the channel, give them some love and support. And again, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Links to my other channel, my social media will be down below in the description box. You guys know the drill. And as always, may the Force be with you always.